Hi, and welcome to Word in Season. Let me read to you one verse from the first letter of St. John, chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, what manner of love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. God the Father is full of love for us, his children. To draw near to God is to draw near to love itself, and what's more, to a love that is lavished upon us. The word lavished means to give something in generous or extravagant quantities. So we are talking here about something quite remarkable, about being loved with an extravagant love. Let us therefore understand that the Father is one who is most kind and gentle, and one who has from all eternity had kind, loving thoughts towards us. It is God's will that he should always be seen as gentle, kind, tender, loving, and unchangeable, and that he, the Father, overflows with love and grace towards his children. The question needs to be asked, why then are we sometimes afraid to have good thoughts about God? Is it too hard to think of the Father as good, gracious, tender, loving and kind? Sadly, it seems we are all too easily prone to thinking of God as hard, austere, severe, and unable to be pleased, which are, when you think of it, some of the worst characteristics of men. How easily Satan deceives us. Satan's first attack upon the human race in the Garden of Eden was his sly effort to destroy Eve's confidence in the kindness of God. Unfortunately for her and us, he succeeded only too well. From that day on, men have had false ideas about God. The danger is that if we end up having a poor view of God, we will instinctively try to be like that imagined God, which inevitably only leads to misery and unhappiness. The greatest burden and sorrow you and I can lay on the Father, the greatest unkindness that you and I can do to him, is not to believe that he loves us. A.W. Tozer, the great pastor and writer from last century, said this: how good it would be if we could learn that God is easy to live with. He remembers our frame and knows that we are dust. He may sometimes chasten us, it is true, but even this he does with a smile, the proud, tender smile of a father who is bursting with pleasure over an imperfect but promising son or daughter who is coming every day to look more and more like the one whose child he or she is. Be fully assured in your hearts that the Father loves you lavishly. Have no doubts and fears about his love for you. In John's Gospel, chapter 17, Jesus tells us that we are loved by the Father in the same way the Father has loved Jesus. That is, the Father loves you as much as he loved Jesus. Selah. Think about that. Wow. How important it is for us to be positively reminding ourselves, meditating on this truth, that we are extravagantly loved by the Father, and that we are loved by our Heavenly Father as he loved Jesus, and are the Father's precious sons and daughters also. Let me close with an interesting quote from John Owen, considered to be one of the great theologians of the church. He said this about experiencing the Father's love: by Jesus Christ, we see and experience and are led up to the Father's love. If we as believers would meditate on this truth and live in the light of it, there would be greater spiritual growth in our walk with God. In one response to this, I recently made a Spotify list of songs specifically about the Father's love, which includes the Father's love letter some of you may have come across, just so I can meditate and soak in the love of the Father for me. I can say that I've been greatly blessed by this. Let me encourage you to give yourself more to being extravagantly loved by the Father. Find a way that is meaningful to you and see if that has a way of producing fruitful growth in you. Church, have a great week.